master cabin. Air conditioning unit. That's how I cap the end of the bed there. I like it. There's my desk. There's wiring chases behind that cabinet. Fixed lights. That's a removable panel for wires. Everything else, hydraulic lines. Hanging locker. Storage. Lights. Camera action. Sink for the master cabin. Vanity. I don't know if you can see the drawers in here or not. Pretty dark. I've got 2, 4, 6, 8 drawers on my side. 2, 4 dressing drawers and storage drawers. Big locker. Should have built that down here. I carried it in. Oh well. Reading lights. There is the shower. Oh, crappy videographer, man. A little dark in here. It's alright, I can see good. Light. There's a storage cabinet in the bathroom. Composting toilet, vent. That will be a switch for the bilge pump and a junction box. There's my custom bent corners, radius corners for the bed. That would be Ernesto. Watertight, fire-tight door to the engine room. Hydraulic steering lines. AC light switch to the engine room. DC, future DC light switch to the engine room. There's a vent manifold for water tanks, fixed light. Shelves in the stairway, companionway, whatever you want to call it. More cabinet space in the companionway. These are just temporary steps, but the air conditioning for the lower cabin will be under the steps. That steps up to the salon. So this is the dressing room for the forward cabin with its own sink. Got a little bench to sit on. Cabinets. The light switch for the cabin is right here. Kind of a bad place for it, but it is what it is. And here is the kids' cabin. We got 1 bunk, 2 bunks. There is the chain locker. That is storage, 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 storage back in there, storage back in there, another bunk. That's where the air conditioner comes out, air conditioning vent, another bunk. It's all storage right now. Oh well, moving too fast. Looking from the kids' cabin into their dressing room. Up the companionway steps. It is the watertight door. this way I can look inside the engine room without going into the engine room. That's what the light switch is for. Engine room, there is the generator, 10 kilowatt, 240 volt, 120 volt. There is the only through hole on the boat. It's manifolded with a 2-inch, I think it's a 2-inch or 3-inch sea strainer. Here's where the batteries will sit. That goes to the lazarette. There is the fuel transfer. Yeah, I'll show you that later. And then the engine room. There is the Deere 6068 TFM. There is the steering pump that runs off the camshaft. Hydraulic pump. Twin disc gear. I think it's 2.5 to 1. Cooler for the gear. PTO. That is the shaft log with a temporary alignment deal I turned. Drill press. Workbench. Little storage. We got a vise. Custom little bench, or seat I mean. There's the freshwater pump for the water system. Expansion tank for cooling. That's just a junction box. It's one of these old Conceptive control panels I had. That's bringing AC from the wheelhouse to the engine room, or AC from the engine room to the wheelhouse. Fuel lines for transfer, vent. There is the fuel suction manifold. It's the Raycor water separator. Distribution manifold for the fuel transfer system. Flow meter. That would be the emergency pump deal. It doesn't work so well. You have to take another look at that. And there's a distribution manifold for the generator on the right and the main engine on the left. I put check valves in there. We'll see how all that's going to work. And there is the filter for the day tank with the emergency priming pump. So you will bypass the distribution manifold, run that pump to prime the engine of the generator. Once that's done, you'll go ahead and re-engage the distribution manifold, close off that pump, and run the engine. That can also be a temporary lift pump in case the engine lift pump fails. That is lazarette. I've got to flip that window around because you pinch your finger between that dog and the window and someone's going to get cut. Probably me. So, there is the steering gear, just blocked up for right now. The rudder shaft is out. There's a temporary alignment bushing. This is all above the water line. The water line is actually right there. So it's a good 16 inches above the water line. Water heater, AC powered. Water distribution manifold. And there is where the 90-gallon gray water tank will reside. So this is it in a nutshell. A basic tour of the big boat build. Let's see what we got here. These are how we fill. So to fill the aft tank, you open the valve, close the forward valve, fill, do the reverse for the forward tank. And on the port side, same deal. Close one, open the other, fill, close the other, open one, fill. 1,400 gallons of fuel divided between 4 tanks, with all the machines being run out of the tank behind that board. The rest of them are storage. The water line right now is about, well, depending on where she sits, the water line's going to be about 1.5 inches above that T. So my plan is to thread a nipple in there with a cap, so if I ever have a clog down in the intake, I can clear it by just taking that cap off. And I should be able to look right down there and not get the water into the boat. There's my custom drawer unit. That actually turned out pretty good. Still a lot of work to do, but I'm on the downhill side of it. Later on.